What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday and welcome to the Early Edge. The chat is already buzzing. Bradley Jacobs cashed both of our live look and UCL plays from yesterday's show. We got a lot of live plays in the chat. It's going to happen again today, and hopefully we cash them again. Jack, how you doing? Jason, Japan, Moshi, Matt, and Danny Brasco joins us. Let's see how we did yesterday. On the recap screen, well, we'll take a winning record. Probably should have hit that Brent Rooker over. He got robbed on a couple of plays. Amax goes 0 for 2, but Sniper picks him right up with a 2-0, and Martin Green cashes France minus 1.25 at minus 111. Listen, we'll take 3 and 2. We prefer 4 and 1. We prefer 5 and 0, and maybe we'll go 5 and 0, or actually we have more picks than 5 today. Let's bring on the stars of the show. No pressure, guys, but I'm trying to go undefeated here. I've got a golf matchup going on right now. Tony Finau versus Sahith Theegala. He's up 1 stroke. It's very early. I've got another golf matchup to give out later today. Mike McClure has a golf matchup, but we got Sniper. We got Propstarz. And Sniper, I got to give you the floor here. You picked us up yesterday. 2-0. Brilliant stuff.
Well, that's what teammates do. I've had plenty of 0-2 days, and I'm always happy when I'm 0-2 and I see the screen with a bunch of green around me to pick me up. So I'm glad to contribute on the other end.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we'll take 2-0 all day. No pressure on this one. Propstarz, I got to ask you, how you doing today?
Sorry about that, Sia. I am well. It's good to see you. Good to see you, Matt. Good to see you, Mike. I'm fired up. Shout out to the chat. What's good, chat? Got some day baseball, which I love, especially when we get an early start. So I'm fired up and raring to go, and we're getting closer and closer to NFL season, Sia.
I love that. Danny Brasco says, Proppy at the car wash. Yeah, you've got a little bit of a blurry screen, but I'm sure we'll get that taken care of as the show goes along. I think it's kind of cool imagery. Mike McClure, are you enjoying some golf right now? We got day baseball, I know, but golf season, we got the FedEx Cup playoffs coming up right now. I'm sweating first-round leaders, trying to go 3 in a row. How you feeling about Thursday morning golf?
Feeling pretty good so far. A lot of guys I'm interested in still have yet to tee off today, but love this event. And frankly, I love this time of year. You got the day baseball. We got the Olympics coming up. We're within reach of football season. Anytime you get under 50 days, it's basically right there. So all the content on CBS Sports HQ, we're covering a lot of college football, a lot of NFL. I saw a comment in the chat about college football futures. Can't speak exactly to the tune of if we have a big futures show here, but we are covering teams day by day over on HQ. We're in the Big Ten right now. Yesterday did Iowa, some other teams like that. Today we've got Michigan, Oregon, and Washington tonight on CBS Sports HQ.
Yeah, I would really strongly encourage people to make sure you're dialed into CBS Sports HQ. It's pretty much around the clock. And a lot of those college football previews, I saw some of your content yesterday, Mike, with, I believe, Emory Hunt. It's just amazing stuff. Oregon, very interesting team. I know Tom Casale, who you'll start to see as we approach football season, you'll start to see him on this show and on other shows as well. I know he likes Oregon quite a bit. I like Oregon quite a bit, but tune into HQ, and we'll have some stuff on this show coming up. We're 42 days away from NFL season. I think it was Farzad who pointed it out. Ronnie Lott days away. All right, let's get into some. If you have a 42 you like, put it in the chat. But Matt, Sniper, let's get into some baseball picks. We got a lot of baseball picks today. We don't have a soccer capper on, but we've got some soccer picks that are going to be coming up for you, and some golf picks. Sniper, you're kicking us off.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of running it back, but we went 2-0, so why not? You got to stick with what works, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to start, again, in DC because we went with the Padres yesterday. I'm going to go Dylan Cease to get a win here. It was only minus 110 about an hour ago. Gets us much better odds because we are against Patrick Corbin here. Everybody likes to say Happy Patrick Corbin Day. As noted here yesterday, Patrick Corbin's left-handed. The Padres were bad for a while against left-handed pitching to the point that everybody started fading them against lefties, but they've actually gotten pretty hot against lefties, including yesterday where they beat the heck out of Mitchell Parker in the early innings, a lefty. So that's really been normalizing for a little bit, so I'm not worried about them facing a lefty and Patrick Corbin here, and you shouldn't be worried against anybody facing Patrick Corbin, even though he does have the occasional good outing. He had a good outing last time against the Reds, only allowed 1 run in 6 innings, but that just makes me that much more confident that things are going to even out this time and the Padres are going to get to him because he still leads the majors in earned runs. On the other side, Dylan Cease, as I said, I have him to get the win. Last 2 outings, 13 innings, 0 runs allowed, 21 strikeouts, and only 2 hits allowed. So I like Cease to dominate. I think the Padres get to Corbin. So maybe you like a first 5 there. I'm just going to go with the Padres to get Dylan Cease a win here. Also, again, I said I'm kind of running it back. I had Rangers on the run line yesterday. Going to do it again. Fading the White Sox again. That's an easy play right now. Just to update the stats from yesterday, they're now on pace to lose 121 games, which would be a modern day Major League record. They now have 56 losses by multiple runs in 104 total games. So more often than not, if you bet the run line against the White Sox, you win. Yesterday, they actually had the lead in the early innings. Then it was close for a while, and then the Rangers completely unloaded on the White Sox bullpen. Maybe that'll happen again. I do think this is a very good spot for Rangers starter Max Scherzer. He's been inconsistent. He hasn't gotten deep into games. We know he's old and he's been banged up with injury, but he knows how to pitch, and this White Sox lineup is awful. They now have only scored 22 runs in their last 11 games. That's not very good. And on the other side, the Rangers are really hot. They've won 11 of their last 15. So again, most likely outcome is a blowout here. We're on the Rangers run line.
Yeah, that's interesting. That was a really good take, but all I heard, Sniper, on that second take was the White Sox are awful, and I tend to agree. Mike McClure, let me ask you something, because we're talking about the Rangers. I was talking to Sniper before the show about how hot they've been over the last 15 games. You were on here, I believe it was just last week, in the middle of last week, saying, hey, I like the Texas, and correct me if I'm wrong. I might, maybe this was somebody else. The Texas Rangers to make the playoffs was like plus 550 or plus 500. That was a play you were on, correct?
It was, Sia. And look, I'm happy that they've had success against the White Sox and winning a couple games right now. Is still largely about what they've got in the final month of the season, which is the easiest path. So very excited about that. Have the Astros plus 400 to win that division from earlier as well. So I'm all things fading Seattle at this point. Yeah. The worst case scenario, I guess, would be Seattle winning the division and Astros taking the wild card spot. But yes, rooting hard and very interested in the AL West.
Can I just say, and I'm sure he agrees with me, I'm not too worried about the Mariners winning the division. They just can't hit, and there are not going to be enough bats moved at the trade deadline for them to really improve their offense, especially now that Julio Rodriguez got hurt. He was one of those guys where you say, if anything's going to turn around, he could get really hot. And he's been hot in second halves so far in his career. He's been so bad but then with him getting hurt and not that many bats going to be available in the trade deadline, it's just hard to see a path to the Mariners making the playoffs now.
That's so interesting. And that's why we were talking about, because the Houston Astros were a hot topic during the All-Star break and right before the All-Star break on this show. And that's why we were talking about, you might want to get on them kind of right now to win the division, because we saw Seattle falling. Interesting to see the damage that Texas does as well. Joseph Rackett says Padres first 5 run line -0.5. I mean, listen, that's a potential play, certainly, after hearing Sniper's analysis there. I've got some SportsLine plays here. Oh, first of all, I'm incorporating first of all now, so I don't get into the by the way or for the record stuff. So a few more catchphrases from me. I should mention Danny Brasco's in the chat, dishing out a lot of knowledge. I believe it's regarding UFC 304. Well, good news. He won't only be in the chat. Tomorrow he'll be on the early edge as well, so you're not going to want to miss that. We'll have all our regular content plus Danny Brasco on as well. Sniper, go ahead.
Yeah, someone in the chat, Joseph, just asked Snyder, Giants team total over 3.5. I might think about that. It's Clayton Kershaw's first start. He's only thrown 67 pitches in 4 innings in the minors. He had one dominant outing and one where he got knocked around a little bit. His stuff just isn't where it used to be, and I don't think he can get that deep in the game. The Dodgers bullpen has been completely beat up because there's no starting pitching, so they've been overworked. Yeah. We saw the Giants score all those runs late. That would make sense as a play.
Yeah, I think the Giants are a little underrated when it comes to the hitting department. They don't have a lot of guys, but they've been putting up some runs here and there. Certainly, it got away from the Dodgers yesterday in the 8th inning when the Giants piled on some runs. And I'll say this, they made Glasnow work in the first couple of innings of that game as well. So something to note there. Mike McClure, go ahead.
I was just letting people know I still, even at the current price point, like Texas to make the playoffs. It's down to plus 310. I think it's still incredible value. We got an update yesterday on injury status, and we are projecting Cody Bradford, Tyler Mahle, and Jacob deGrom to all be available in some capacity by mid-August. So we should have those guys back in that rotation in plenty of time here. So still think there's plenty of value left at plus 310.
Look at all the extra nuggets we're picking up along the way. Propstarz, we haven't even gotten to you yet. We haven't even gotten to the SportsLine soccer plays yet. We don't have a soccer capper on the show, but let me give you a couple SportsLine plays. I believe these games start within the next few hours. It could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure we got Europa League qualifying both ways. One game at 1, one game at 12 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to mess up these names. I think it's Mold or Moldy. I know I pronounced that wrong. Middleburg, both teams to score -125. And then we've got, Krakow versus Rapid Vine, both teams to score. Bradley Jacobs, tell me how poorly I did there. That's both teams to score -120. That's the 12 o'clock start. And we've got the first one is the 1 o'clock start. Man, this is a day I really wish I had a soccer capper so I didn't screw that up. If you want to take those picks, or the picks you're about to hear, go to BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10, and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. All right, I mentioned it. We got to get to Propstarz picks. We got to get to our golf picks, our matchups this afternoon, and we got to get you, I'm looking right at you, to hit the like button. And you can do that during this message from our partners.
Football action continues. Are you ready for this? Ready to take chances? As the gridiron is taken over by the Great White North. It's time to storm the fortress. It's time to fight on the battlefield. Catch the Canadian Football League on CBS Sports Network.
I should have gone with my gut. Bradley Jacobs says it's Mold, like pronounced like mold. And that's what I said at first. And then I second guessed myself. And then Rapid Vine, I believe was the name that I almost got right. All right. We're back on the early edge. Propstarz, let's talk. We just talked 2 baseball picks. How about you give us 2 more on the Thursday slate? Ooh, is he frozen? He might be frozen. Okay, he's frozen. If he doesn't come back on, I believe he will. If he doesn't come back on, I will give these picks out. Let's transition though. We'll wait for him and we'll go to golf. I've got a matchup. If anybody wants to update me on the matchup, because I'm not looking at the scores right now. I believe they're on the 6th hole, maybe on the 7th hole at this point. I have Tony Finau from yesterday's show, -135 over Sahith Theegala. He was up 1. Looks like Mike is checking on my behalf. Well, I'm going to give out a round 1 2 ball. Listen, I'm surprised this number is where it's at. It looks like a trap to me. So it just acknowledge that right off. I want to acknowledge that right off the bat. But Emiliano Grillo, -110 over Adam Svensson. Grillo has been really good here. And I think course history is kind of important here, not because it's a complex course, but because this is one of those situations where there's water everywhere. Managing the course correctly, I think, is really important. You look at Grillo's play over the last 3 times he's played here. It's been really, really good. And Adam Svensson, the play is really checkered. I think he's a decent enough course fit. I don't see anything in his recent form or in his course history that would indicate he should be -110 each way against Emiliano Grillo. Now, I'll say this. Grillo's not getting a ton of respect in the market because he's Emiliano Grillo. After all, I don't think anybody actually expects him to win this tournament or even necessarily top 5 or top 10. But I think on this course, he's a way better option than Adam Svensson, who I think could absolutely blow up on this course. Grillo, no stranger to blowing up. But again, especially when we look at the putting, where that used to be a problem for Emiliano Grillo, it still is to some degree, but not nearly as much of a problem as it is lately for Adam Svensson. This is a tournament and a round where you're going to need to make some putts. I trust Grillo to do that over Adam Svensson. I trust his course history more. Give me Grillo this afternoon, -110 over Svensson. All right. Mike McClure, you also have a matchup to give out, and it includes this guy he's so perplexing to me, and I trust you're about to give me an update on my matchup. This guy rates out so well. The guy that you like rates out so well. He's from this area. At least he went to college in this area, but he hasn't done so well on this course before. So A, give me the update if you could, and B, give me your matchup.
You're still up 1 in Finau versus Theegala, so everything looks good there. The matchup for me is going to be Eric Van Rooyen and Billy Horschel. I know Billy Horschel just played very well at the Open Championship. I think this is an interesting spot to fade him. A little plus money here, +105. I actually make Van Rooyen a slight favorite here, -112. When I look at the spot, I think it's a lot working narrative-wise on both sides. So Billy it's really difficult to travel internationally for multiple weeks and contend and have a difficult loss like that, then coming back to an event that certainly doesn't mean as much to him. As far as Erik van Rooyen, though, this is definitely a homecoming event. Played golf at the University of Minnesota, as did his caddy. They were teammates. There's a lot of different things working in his favor here, but the fact that he is skipping the opening ceremonies from the Olympics to be here at this event, there are many things in play. It's partially because he wants to be there. He also kind of has to be here. He's starting this week around 56th or 57th in the FedEx Cup standings. He really wants to get inside that top 50 to be able to play BMW Championship. This is going to be an interesting spot for him. All the metrics grade out pretty well for him. He's made cuts in 7 of his last 8 and really 14 of 18 this season. And he's great off the tee. We know him to be one of the better ball strikers. He's going to be good on approach. I personally just think this is a great opportunity for someone that really wants to be here versus a guy that was just contending at a major championship across the pond. I love the spot for Van Rooyen. Again, familiar with the area despite not having a ton of great course history here. I think he's a great play, and I do not think he should be the underdog in this particular matchup. So give me Erik van Rooyen plus 105 over Billy Horschel.
I like that. And I do think that the Billy Horschel the Billy Horschel number, I think is largely, he's been okay, don't get me wrong, but it's largely predicated on what we saw just a few days ago and where he was really good. This is a completely different scenario, flying over as well. I like the play here. I would be on EVR here as well. We do have a question before I give out Propstarz picks. Mike M says, Grillo over McNeely is even money. God, I'm not a Mav McNeely guy, Mike McClure, and I don't know why people are necessarily, but he does have the potential to ball strike and putt. So this is one I'm a little nervous about. Do you have an opinion on Grillo even money against Mav McNeely?
Well, Mav McNeely, that's 2 M's. It kind of matches my initials. I'm not giving analysis that way, but I think that the matchup that you gave is a lot better than the matchup against McNeely. I think that Mav is definitely likely to be more competitive and less variance, right? So I think that you're fading Svensson, who could be extremely volatile here. I think McNeely is going to be pretty solid. So I personally would not play that one.
Gotcha. Okay. I think that's good advice because I don't think I was going to play that one as well. David Talk says Burns over Kitayama. I would play that, but it would only be a lean to me. I think a lot of people like Kitayama. A lot of people like Burns. He's been playing well. Mike, real quick, do you have? Well, you didn't give us the number. I'm assuming Burns is favored by it's probably like a minus 130 proposition. Mike, any comments there before I give out Propstarz picks? Burns over Kitayama.
Quickly looking, I lean Burns only because Kitayama's been awful with the putter. Burns not great on approach of late, but certainly expect him to be better. So I would, without having the number, I would lean Burns.
Okay, I guessed it exactly right. David Talk says it's minus 130. So feeling pretty good about that. All right, I'm also feeling pretty good about Propstarz picks. And Sniper, I may go to you because we might not get Propstarz back on this show. Corbin Burns over 18.5 outs. That's his first play at minus 113. His second play is Taj Bradley under 17.5 outs. So let me say that again. Corbin Burns over 18.5 outs and Taj Bradley under 17.5 outs. That one's at minus 111. By the way, if you missed any of the stuff on the front end with our picks, if you joined us late, 2 things. 1, hit the like button, and 2, good news. We have a recap screen at the end of the show, so you'll get to see, including the SportsLine picks, which I absolutely butchered. You'll get to see those as well. Sniper, any response to either of these? Corbin Burns over 18.5 outs, Taj Bradley under 17.5 outs.
Yeah, Burns never goes fewer than 18. He throws 6 innings every single time. He hasn't gone fewer than 6 innings since April 20th, and that was 5 2/3. So we know he's going to go the 6 innings. The question is he going to get that additional out we need? And the Orioles are reeling right now, assuming he throws well. And it's a pretty good assumption because it's Corbin Burns against a terrible Marlins offense. Surely they're going to want him to go into the 7th. So, yes, this is a good play. And Taj Bradley was under 17.5.
Yes, at minus 111.
He's gone 7 innings, 2 outings in a row, and that's a lot for him. And the Rays generally don't let their younger guys go 7 innings that many times in a row. So I assume that's where his head is on this one, is that the Rays not wanting to, 97 pitches, then 99 pitches. This is probably a dial it back outing for Taj Bradley. And I assume that's kind of where Proppy was looking.
Very interesting. It looks like there's a lot of interest in this Nats Padres game, Sniper. So I'm going to throw 2 plays at you. Listen, I'm not asking you to.
It's about to start, isn't it? Like an hour and a half away or something.
Yeah, we got day baseball for sure. Machado over 1.5 total bases at +105 says Big Cheesy, and also Nats, not the Knots. Although when they're playing poorly, you can call them that. The Nats Padres over 8.5. It sounds to me like you would lean both ways there, given your analysis, but these aren't necessarily plays you're willing to make. Any thoughts on these two?
Yeah, I like the Machado one. The total, I just don't know. I mean, Cease has been so dominant the last couple times out, and the Nationals offense is very inconsistent. I could see Cease throwing up zeros the entire time. And while Corbin does lead the league in earned runs allowed, he does have outings every once in a while where he only gave up 1 run in 6 innings against the Reds last time. So I'm not as excited about the over there.
Gotcha. Okay. John says, I miss first 5 Sia. I'll tell you what, after the trade deadline, probably Mark Buchholz had a good comment in here yesterday. A lot of volatility in baseball, at least with the picks that I'm making. I might wait until after the trade deadline to get back into the first 5 mode. And I've been hitting golf so well, I kind of want to stick with what's working for me. But John, first 5 Sia will reemerge. It'll probably be, trade deadline's like less than a week away. So it'll probably be maybe next week I'll audition another first 5 play out there. And then before we bring up the recap screen, I want to point out somebody asked about Mike, you and I, and Fantasy Football Today DFS. So everybody, stay tuned for that. We've already released a best ball show with Megan Schaub, and we're going to release part 2 of that, I think, in the coming days. Make sure you are subscribed to Fantasy Football Today DFS, FFT DFS. It's a red emblem. You can't miss it. Subscribe to that because you will eventually hear some more off-season stuff. We're already starting the podcast back up, but then when the season starts, it's me and Mike McClure talking to you about our favorite plays at the end of the week so that you can get set for your NFL DFS season. We're going to be there every single week. So make sure you are already subscribed to that podcast because, again, content is already coming out there. All right. I think, there's Mark Buchholz. I was referencing him with the comment yesterday. Good stuff from him. Kareem says Brent Rooker over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Listen, we were on that yesterday. He's been red hot. All right, let's bring up the recap screen. Let's see what we got. A lot of picks here. Emiliano Grillo, -110 over Adam Svensson. That's this afternoon. Dylan Cease to record a win, -110. And Rangers -1.5 from the Sniper. Mike McClure, he's got Eric Van Rooyen at +105 over Billy Horschel. Again, this is another round 1 matchup this afternoon. Day baseball today, too, by the way, everybody. Check that out. Corbin Burns over 18.5 outs at -113. Taj Bradley under 17.5 outs at -111. Those are the 2 picks from Propstarz. And then the SportsLine picks. We go to soccer. Again, starts in a couple of hours. Mold versus Sickelberg. Both teams to score, or Sickelborg, -125. And Wisla Krakow versus Rapid Wien. Both teams to score, -120. I think I might have done better on that second round, but it still was pretty poor pronunciation. We'll have a soccer capper on tomorrow so that we don't completely screw that up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of picks. We had a lot of activity in the chat. We really, really appreciate you, and we expect you here tomorrow at 10 in the morning, hitting the like button and interacting with us and giving out your favorite picks as well. Like I said, Danny Brasco, thanks for being in the chat. You'll see him on tomorrow's show as well. On behalf of Propstarz, Mike McClure, the Sniper, and of course, Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, and all of you in the chat continuing to correct my pronunciation. Thank you very much, Bradley Jacobs. This is The Early Edge. I'm the Counselor of Cash. We rest our case.